systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going? Oh, hold on. What's going on, everybody? Let me get this actually right. This is embarrassing. What is going on over here? All right, there we go. We are back as usual. Hope everybody out there having a great week, having a better week than Connor, hopefully, than he had last week. I mean, man, what a disappointing. Better than BSD. We could go down the list. There were some good fights, no doubt about that. But man, the main event. Obviously disappointed if you were a part of the winning circle. I think it was 8 people for 50,000. Congrats. You absolutely will take that all day long. Max was not on the winner, so the main event phase, Stevenson fade. It was an interesting card. It was some fun. We parlay that into this week in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 12 fights card, and this got added yesterday or 2 days ago, I believe, Anderson and Elliott to make it 12 fights. And man, it's a classic coming off a really big card. Throw together 12 shitters. There's a couple fine ones here and there, but I'd be lying if I think it's a great card. You can see half of the stone isn't even filled out. You need to have 3 Dana White Contender Series and UFC fights to qualify to get these numbers. So that shows how many newbies there are on this card. But I think a couple fun ones throughout. We'll see. How you doing today? What are your thoughts on this card, last week, anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, this card's not great on paper. Last card was a train wreck at the end. I mean, I'm glad I bet on Max. It's not how I saw it going down, but just a crap show in general. I feel like Connor probably knew he was hurt going into it and just wanted to get that paycheck locked in for sure. That's my thoughts, but who knows? Glad it's over with, I guess, but this is definitely not my favorite card to come back to. I was kind of like, after that card, I was like, man, do we have a week off next week? I could use a week off after this. And then I was looking ahead, and I was like, who the hell are these people? Like, I gotta like actually research this card. So I did it on Sunday. I've already forgot about some of these guys, so I had to do a little bit of extra research today. But we'll see how it goes. I feel like there's a lot of volatile fights, and could be a lot of high scores.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go through bottom to top like usual. We got Harden here. G, Pfeiffer, Mateus, Jake. Hope everybody out there doing well. Again, all we ask, like, button, and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. Let's start talking with these fights, though. Damien, again, this was the first fight that was added 2 days ago to make it 12 fights. Damien Anderson, minus 145, taking on Ezra Elliott, plus 125. The only prop that's out right now is under 1.5 is plus 115. So what I did is then I went to compare other under 1.5 props for what's closest on this card. And you have to go all the way to the Tommy McMillen Alberto Montes fight that's minus 325 to finish. This McMillen Montes fight now is minus 350 or 350 to finish, and under 1.5 is plus 110. So we should be looking at about a minus 350 inside the distance prop if everything's lining up like I'm expecting, which is the second highest on the card after Levi, Rodrigues, and Felipe Franco. So I think this is going to be like minus 350, pretty closely lined fight, so probably priced in the mid-tier. If that's the case, obviously I think it'll be a slam dunk on both sides. But, I mean, 5-0 Anderson, 7-0 Elliott. This feels really, really low level with guys that aren't probably have much cardio. So I'm just going to play both sides. I'm going to load up on both sides. I really don't care who I have more of unless you talk me into something.
Yeah, I still got to do my research on this fight. From what I know so far, Anderson looks like a slick BJJ guy. He can grab knee locks, like tricky stuff like that, but he needs to be on the ground for his best work. And then Elliott, he should have the striking edge for sure. But he also looked like he was a very willing wrestler. He looked like he was aggressive to get into the clinch and go for takedowns as well. But this was all – I only saw highlights of both guys. So I definitely need to watch full fights. I was locked out of my UFC Fight Pass account, though, for some reason. It was like, what's your full name? And I'll type in my name, and it said you need to put in an area code with that phone number. And I'm like, what do you mean phone number? That's my name. So I have no way to get past that screen. I couldn't do anything. I don't know what I'm going to do actually. But hopefully I get that figured out and I'll watch the fights on these guys. But I am very interested for DraftKings. I feel like we're going to start out the night, and when this fight is over, you're going to wish you had the winner in your lineup. I'm just not sure who that's going to be. Right now, I side with the underdog, and that is Elliott. I just think he has more ways to win the fight. Like, if you got to shoot for leg locks, I'm just not rooting for you to win very many fights. Mute.
That's fair enough. You did see last week, though, with Mario Batista against Corey Sandhagen. Absolutely hammered it after the first round. You could tell. Tore his hammy, I think, is what Sandhagen ended up coming to say, but got him like a knee bar, leg lock. Those things
wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you said, yeah, you tuned out kind of. But, yeah, it was a really good what's up, Cookie Monster Trader? It was a really good knee bar, leg lock attempt. Changed the whole fight after that. His leg was absolutely bruised.
I didn't know he pulled his hammy, though. It makes sense now looking back, yeah.
Yeah, Andrew, we'll get to that in a little bit. I don't have a strong take on the side right now. I will be looking at the money. It was Damien Anderson plus 130 at open, now minus 145. Again, the line is still pretty new. I doubt the volume on this fight. There's too much of it yet, so this line still can move around quite a bit, and I will be seeing where it goes. But we'll see where the pricing comes out. I just know I'm going to want to play a lot of both of them and hope people get scared to play the first fight, because I do think it delivers one way or another. All right, next fight on the card, the second highest priced and second biggest favorite, Dione Barbosa, taking on Anna Melisano. We have this fight minus 190 to finish. As you can see, it opened minus 140 on Monday, now minus 190. A lot of money coming in on the under. Specifically, Barbosa, open minus 105 to finish, now minus 160. For Anna, plus 650 inside the distance. Barbosa round one, plus 200 after opening, plus 225. Barbosa, I think she gets it to the mat, and I think when she does, she probably finds a submission shortly after. Does that 9,400 pay off? I think right now I prefer to play Barbosa than I do Coria, because that 400 goes a long way. I still do think there's other people below Barbosa that I have interest in as well, but yeah, the full disclosure, we fast forward a little bit. I really don't see myself playing much Coria, and I will be playing Barbosa since that 400, I think, goes long enough away. And if I think she can get a first-round sub, which is what I'm picking, that should score. So, yeah, Barbosa taking a lot of money line inside the distance, and I think it is warranted.
Yeah, Barbosa is going to be my pick to win for sure. I think she's just going to have a big grappling advantage in this fight. Melisano looks like a solid offensive striker, but she can get cracked defensively. Not that Barbosa is a great striker herself, but I just think if she gets one takedown, she either grinds out the rest of the round or she gets a submission. So I do like Barbosa. $9,400 I don't love, but on this card, it's definitely playable, and I'm not going to be playing any Coria, just spoiler alert. So I would rather save that $400. I doubt I'll have $9,800 to even get up to, but if I do, I would rather just save it, get down to Barbosa, have a couple less dupes that way. But yeah, she's my pick to win on the ground.
I like it. You and I see it the same. We'll keep it rolling to the next fight on the card. We have Alvin Hines and RJ Harris. Alvin Hines minus 125, RJ Harris plus 105, minus 230 for this fight to finish. Hines plus 125 inside the distance, Harris plus 185. Both guys are plus 400 in round one. Only heavyweight fight on the card. Usually when they are this low, that means they're pretty low level, and I would say that's the case. 7-1 Hines, 5-0 Harris. We will see Harris with a 4-inch height and 6-inch reach advantage. Just looking at the method of victory props, Harris to win by sub plus 550, Hines 1,200, so showing Harris the better grappler. For KO plus 165, Hines plus 300 Harris. So I'm kind of seeing it. Hines on the feet, Harris on the mat. If that's the case, it's low enough level though, whereas like if Harris lands a shot, he obviously can hurt Hines. It's going to be gross. I'm going to play both sides because, of course, it's a mid-tier heavyweight fight expected to finish on a bad 12-fight card. With all that being said, we see fights like this, though, be boring, fought at distance, and completely bust sometimes. So I would not go all in by any means, but I prefer Hines right now. He actually has fought someone in the UFC, but I think it's really, really gross. What about you?
Yeah, it just seems like one of those fights you would go see at like your local bar as a main event. And I mean, that could work out for DraftKings. I think they both do kind of want to strike. From what I saw, they both look like primary strikers. Hines is more aggressive. He's the one looking to push forward, land some big shots. I do think he is probably more likely to just crash in and land a takedown. Harris looks like the slicker offensive striker, but he is tall, and I think he backs up a lot, and I can see him getting cracked just backing up as a tall man. My pick is going to be Hines to win, but there's no real confidence behind it. I'm not going to have any betting money on this fight, but I do want to be pretty invested in DFS. I don't know for sure that it's going to end up as a 5-star for me. Once I make lineups, maybe I'll bump it down to a 4-star, but it is going to be up there because I'm going to want to target this fight pretty heavily and that first fight of the night pretty heavily. And then I feel like I'll either know I'm dead right out of the gates, or maybe I'll have a live lineup and I'll have a sweat for the rest of the night.
I mean, the mid-tier is absolutely stacked this week. Assuming Anderson, Elliott's in the mid-tier, it's going to be somewhat closely lined. Hines, Harris expected to finish. Then you go up to, I mean, I say 8,500, 77's mid-tier, but close enough. Rodrigues, Franco, Big Marley as a 5-star. Delgado, Bashi is a great fight. McMillen, Montes, 5-star for Big Marley as well. So I think I heavily, and it's not a contrarian take, it's going to be popular, but you could go every single one of those fights, pick someone, and then pick, I don't know, something else where it leaves $700 on the table, and I'm fine with that. I think you could argue those are the 4 most high upside fights on this card outside of the main event, and even the main event's a 4-star. So, yeah, that's one thing. That's actually another reason if you do want to fade the Hines-Harris fight, or you're more willing to, it's because those other 3 fights right in that range most definitely can outscore. But, yeah, I love the mid-tier. Hines my pick. I will have some Harris, though, of course, as a closely lined fight that's expected to finish. All right, let's get to the 9,800 Alden Coria, who's minus 1,100. Taking on Stewart Nicoll, who's plus 725 on the way back. Minus 260 for this fight to finish. Coria inside the distance, minus 215. Nicoll plus 800. Coria round 1 plus 150. We talked about it with Stevenson last week, and Stevenson had way better props. Was a decent-sized, bigger favorite. Was way more likely to finish. Way more likely to finish in round 1. We still didn't love it. Obviously, it's a different card, different number of fights, all of that, but it's really hard to pay 9,800. He's not even expected to win in round 1. I think you're probably hoping a buzzer beater round 2 finish with a whole lot of volume and maybe potential knockdowns, multiple knockdowns, that is. I'm not going to play much. I think it's too big of a price tag. I don't love the dogs that much. 120 still might not be enough. So no thanks really for me.
Yeah, he could be $9,600 and I would scratch him off of this card.
Wow. All right.
He's just not the type of fighter I want to target in DraftKings. I do think he's a really good striker. He's going to have the offense. I mean, the entire striking edge. And it's just that he's not a big power striker. And I also don't think he's a great wrestler to where he's going to want to land a bunch of takedowns and keep a bunch of top control time. I think if anyone's wrestling in this fight, it's got to be Nicoll. That's his only chance to win. I just don't think he's good enough to wrestle consistently for 15 minutes against this guy. Coria probably picks him apart and either cruises to a decision, or I do think the shots add up and he gets a TKO stoppage at some point. Just $9,800 is just a lot to pay. I think it's going to be tough for him to crack 90 points in general. So I'll just X him out. If he's on the optimal lineup, you're not going to see me up there.
Hey, that's fair enough. I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. If I'm playing 30 or something, I'll let myself get a couple sprinkles, but I do not like this fight. Definitely not going to be playing any Nicoll. Let's get to a good fight to target. 8,600 Rodrigues, 7,600 Franco. Franco minus, well, let me make sure I got, Rodrigues minus 145 as the $8,600 price fighter. Franco plus 125 on the way back. Minus 400 for this fight to finish, the most likely on the card. Rodrigues minus 135 inside the distance. Franco plus 235. Rodrigues in round 1 plus 215. Everything lines up. I mean, it's kind of similar to the Hines-Harris fight in the sense of it's not the highest level by any means, but I think someone's going to go down. 8,600, 7,600. Most likely to finish. Doesn't break the bank. All the upside in the world on both sides. A lot of unknowns, but I will embrace the unknowns. Similar to that first fight, plenty of lineups will be dead. That's the difference of a sport like MMA and NFL Showdown or else stuff like that. You're never dead in NFL Showdown because your guy can get a touchdown or whatever at the end. When you play 40% Franco and 40% Rodrigues, 40% of your teams will be dead after this fight. I'm fine taking that stance because if the other one's optimal, that's how you get a lot of leverage. I'm not sure which one's going to win, but I want a lot of both. I guess Franco my preferred play because he's 1K cheaper. Do you see it any different? How do you see this fight going?
Yeah, my preferred play is going to be Rodrigues. Franco does have early knockout power. He's also going to be the better wrestler in this fight. But I think all his success comes early. He could probably get early wrestling or he could probably get that early knockout. But if he doesn't, I just think he gasses. And Rodrigues is the better overall striker. And I think he's got enough power too, where he could get a knockout in any round. But the longer it goes, the less of Franco we're going to have to compete with. And I just think Rodrigues gets a TKO at some point. So I like Rodrigues. I think it is probably even a first-round knockout. Hopefully he's not taken down in the first round. Franco gasses, and then we get a second-round knockout from Rodrigues. That's probably off the optimal at that point if you're not getting any points in the first. But I'm hoping this is a fight that ends in the first round.
Couple line movement notes in this one. It opened a complete pick'em at -110. Then we saw Rodrigues take the money, go to like -185 range, and then ever since Franco has taken some money back. So I put these money line odds up on Monday. It was -185 Rodrigues. Now on Thursday, it's -145. So Franco has taken some money this week. We will see where the line goes after that. Great fight to target, though. Again, I prefer Franco by a little. Big Marley prefers Rodrigues. I'm just going to be hoping it is a fight that ends up optimal one way or the other. Next fight on the card, Seokhyeon Ko taking on Jean-Paul Leben. Hold on, let me get this right.
I screw it up every time.
It's such a sick name, too. Lebosnoyani, thank you. Lebosnoyani. Man, that's look at those names together. Let's go with Lebosnoyani plus 170, Ko minus 200, plus 110 for this fight to finish. Lebosnoyani plus 310 inside the distance, Ko plus 235. Neither have great round one props. The fight's expected to go to the distance by a little bit. Ko has shown that he will wrestle, though, as you can see, 4 takedowns per 15 minutes. And then Lebosnoyani on the other side, a solid inside the distance prop of plus 310 at $7,400. Very indifferent for me to this one. Lebosnoyani, my preferred play since we need dogs on this card. Yeah, I guess how much do you think Ko can go out there and wrestle, though? Can he get 5+ takedowns? Because obviously, if so, then I'll play a little bit of him too.
I guess he could. I doubt he does, though. I would probably set his takedown prop at like 2.5. But that is where his edge would be the wrestling. He is a decent wrestler, but Lebosnoyani is a pretty solid grappler himself. I think he could hunt for submissions off of his back. And I also do like him to be the better striker in this one. So if the takedowns aren't there for Ko, I just think that Lebosnoyani is going to be the pick in this one. So I kind of thought this would have been closer to a pick'em line. So that's what made me pick Lebosnoyani as my pick to win. And I don't really have too many underdogs that I'm picking or feeling good about winning on this card. So that's going to make me overweight to him for sure. I don't feel good about him scoring well on DraftKings, but I just kind of want to pick, go overweight to him and just let the cards fall where they will. And hopefully he scores enough to give me a shot at least. But he's my pick. I'll be underweight to Ko.
Yeah, if he wins, I would take any win. 72 points, sure. 7,400, this 12-fight card, that could be enough. 12 versus 14 is a big difference. Especially if very few dogs win on this card. In terms of line movement, as you can see, it was -230 Ko on Monday. Now it's -200. He opened -250, went to the -200 range, stayed there for a bit, took some money, got to like -235. And then Lebosnoyani has taken some money back there. So Lebosnoyani, my preferred play. I don't know. I'm kind of unsure what I'm going to do with Ko yet. I definitely know I'm not going to fully X him just because of the wrestling upside he has, but 8,800, there is others I prefer in the range. So just indifferent to him, but I think he will be pretty low owned as a pivot if you do want to go that route. Let's go to one of my favorite fights on the card, a straight pick'em, Jose Delgado, Austin Bashi, -110 apiece. Minus 130 for this fight to finish. Delgado plus 180 inside the distance. Bashi plus 275. So it was plus 100 to finish on. So I did the money line odds on Monday and inside the distance Tuesday because they weren't out yet. So plus 100 for the fight to finish Tuesday, now minus 130. That's a decent bit of difference. I mean, all I know is Austin Bashi is always a DraftKings play. The dude is a straight wrestler. He will shot 18 takedowns against C-Rod, only got 3 of them and lost. But if Bashi wins, he's going to score. I think he probably has the most upside on the slate. Very, very close to it, if not the most. And Delgado on the other side, he can strike, he can grapple, he has power. Bashi, if he can't get takedowns, I think he's going to be in trouble. So I'm playing this fight for sure in the mid-tier. I'm picking Bashi, though. I think his wrestling will work. I think he can drown Delgado a bit. And if he wins, I feel confident he's on the optimal. So, yeah, I'm on the Austin Bashi train in this one. I do think Delgado's interesting, especially because I think Bashi – I could see Bashi being like 40%. I'm curious to hear your take. Maybe the mid-tier is too stacked, but if everyone talks about the style he has, minus 110 at 7,900, plus 275 to finish. If he does get to that 40% mark, Delgado like 23%, then you're talking of the game theory, the ownership. Maybe Delgado my preferred play, but I like this fight a lot. What are your thoughts? How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, just either on the ground, Bashi wins, or on the feet, Delgado wins. I do think it's a pick 'em for that reason. But where it could look like either guy should have been a minus 400 favorite after the fight, I just don't know who it's going to be. And I picked Bashi to win because when I was going over it on Sunday, it was plus 100 Bashi. So I went with the plus money side. I would have taken Delgado if he was the plus money side, though. But I do think you're right. I think Bashi is going to be pretty owned on this card. Maybe the second or third highest owned on the entire card. So maybe that could switch who I prefer on DraftKings and go straight to Delgado. But you're right, man. If Bashi wins, he is going to score well. But if Delgado wins, I don't know that that's a given, especially if Bashi has a lot of success himself in the wrestling game and he's taken away from the time Delgado could be scoring. So I think you're playing with a higher ceiling and a higher floor with a Bashi win, and Delgado just has a range from like 50 to 110 points, man. It could be anywhere on the Delgado side. So I'm not sure, but I do think you're right on the ownership. Delgado could come in maybe even half as owned as Bashi, and that could be the decider. It makes me want to go the other way instead. But I'm looking forward to this fight to watch it. I have no idea who the hell is going to win. If the line switches and Delgado has the plus next to his name, I'll be going into it picking him instead. But I think it's going to be a good fight to target.
Yeah, the more if Bashi's 20% or 50%, I'm still playing Bashi. Obviously, I would play more at 20 than I would if he was at 50, but he's just someone I'm not going to fade at this price with the upside he has. Delgado on the other side, if Bashi's 50%, I like Delgado a whole lot more than if Bashi's 20% because of the leverage you get against him. Like if Bashi's not getting much ownership, Delgado can easily win this fight, like you're saying, a second or a third round knockout and just not score. Because in the first round, Bashi maybe dominates for 5 minutes. Delgado's off his back, fighting off takedowns. Just one shot, knockout, boom, 82 points. That's not going to be enough or whatever it is. So when the appeal on Delgado is that his inside the distance is solid, but it is more so Bashi's projected ownership, or at least what we're projecting it to be at, which I do think will be high when it's all said and done. So Bashi and chalkier teams, Delgado and teams to get a little bit of different, but Bashi my preferred play. Let's go right to another mid-tier fight, the most likely to finish. As of now, we got Tommy McMillen minus 162 taking on Alberto Montes plus 142, minus 350 for this fight to finish. McMillen plus 120, inside the distance. Montes plus 150. McMillen round 1 plus 300. Montes plus 400. And man, McMillen was plus 375 in round 1, now plus 300. So a decent bit of line movement there. And also McMillen opened plus 160. As you can see on Monday, it was minus 115, minus 105. And now he's sitting at a minus 162 favored. So people are loving themselves some Tommy. Do you see it that way? What do you think of this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I do like Tommy. I think he's a fun fighter. I think it's going to be a great fight to target. I am interested in that line 1 So I was kind of thinking that Montes might have more round one equity because he does have big punching power, I would say. Like one punching power he might have more of than McMillen. And then I also think he is going to be the better grappler in this one. If he can get one of those head and arm chokes, he could put McMillen to sleep. But the longer this fight goes, I just think the more he gasses and the more McMillen will start to pick up the pace. And McMillen is the better striker, the higher volume striker. I trust his cardio more, and I think that even in a 3-round win, I think he could have a high enough pace to be over 100 points. So I like McMillen in this one. I do think that I'm probably gonna go along with the line movement in this one. I'm gonna make McMillen my 4-star, Montes my 2-star. It was Pick'em, I think, when I was going over it, but I did pick McMillen to win. I felt like he should be a little bit of the favorite, and he's the more fun fighter. I think he's just got a higher ceiling in the stardom factory. So give me some Tommy McMillen. I think this could be a fun fight, and he could score 120 points and really break the slate.
For sure. I want to say McMillen's my preferred play too. With that being said, it's similar to that Delgado Bashi fight when we're talking ownership. I mean, 8,200 AK is priced like it's -115, -105, which it was about that when it came out. Now people are going to see an 8,200 at -160 if that's where it does close. I mean, that puts them very strongly as a cash play. One of the strongest tournament plays. 8,200 doesn't break the bank. And next thing you know, sometimes it goes overboard and he's like 48% McMillen and 19% Montes. And then it's like, all right, give me the Montes side all day. If he wins, he still should score. High volatile fight. And it's only a 200 price difference. So whether you leave the 200 or you zero it out, it's a big enough ownership gap. So yeah, I think a lot of it depends on if I ran my process and McMillen projected at 43% and Montes at 19, I'd be more over to the field to Montes. If it's 35 McMillen and 28 Montes, I'd prefer McMillen even at slightly more ownership. So that's the game we play with MMA. There's only so many combinations, especially with 12 fights. When you win, how much do you win with all of it pretty much at first place? I think right now, the ownership gap will be wide enough where Montes might be my preferred play, but I could be wrong, obviously. I just think that's a whole lot of line movement when people see it at 8,200. But all right, rank this McMillen, Montes, Delgado, Bashi. Rank those 4 for me.
Oh man. Yeah, not including ownership. I'd say Tommy, Bashi, Delgado, Montes.
I think I'm going to go Bashi, Montes, Tommy, Delgado, and just for the reasons I'm going with ownership. That's in my head right now. I still think Bashi's upside. Montes for the leverage. Tommy's still a great play, but when you play him, get a little different, and then Delgado definitely 4th. All right, we will keep it rolling. Wanted to spend that's 2 of the best fights on the card right in the mid-tier that we just talked about. So wanted to spend some time on that for sure in depth. Big favorite, do we have Fatima Klein -500, taking on Tabitha Ricci +375. Hopefully my computer loads. Trying to see what this fight is to finish. Let me refresh real quick. Man, seeing Tabitha Ricci is this big of a dog shows a lot about what the books and people think of Fatima Klein. Yeah. I also cannot. Do you have fight odds? Mine's tweaking right now. It's just absolutely buffering now that I refreshed it. Do you have the fight to finish and inside the distance props on each side?
No, it's not letting me pull up props. No. Mine hadn't let me in a while. There it is. There we go.
All right, I got it. +250 to finish. Klein +285 inside the distance. Ricci +900. I don't have much interest in Ricci. I think Klein's better wherever the fight goes. My only concern is Klein's dominant on the map, but like the easiest path seems to be to keep it on the feet. +285 inside the distance isn't great. I prefer Barbosa for 100 more, and I prefer people like Rodrigues, McMillen. I don't know about Chase Hooper, probably even Christian Leroy Duncan. I just don't think I see myself really paying 9,300 much. Pretty much a fight fade. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure on this one. I actually moved it from a 2-star to a 3-star because I'm not sure. Klein is just a really good fighter all around. I think she has the potential to knock out Ricci. She could dominate her on the feet for 3 rounds. She could even wrestle if that's what she wants to do. She's just good everywhere. So I think because she's good everywhere and she can wrestle, I think 9,300 is in play and she's not going to get much ownership. So I'm okay with Klein. On the Ricci side, I don't think she's going to get owned either. And I don't think she's going to win, but she is a primarily wrestler grappler. And if she's going to win this fight, it has to be heavy top control for at least 2 rounds. And if she wins, she's going to score more than 10x and probably more than 80 points, more than maybe even 90 points. So I don't know that I want to fade Ricci on this card. I think she could have some wrestling success. And I thought the line was a little bit wide as well. So I think I'll keep her in my pool, maybe limit her to like 15, 20%. And I'm okay with the same thing on the Klein side, maybe limit her to 15, 25. But I'm much more excited to go watch Klein fight and see where she goes in the UFC. Just not sure that $9,300 on this card is what I'm really loving to pay.
Yeah, it sounds like you like this fight a little more than me. No thanks to either side. Would have to be playing over 20 teams more than likely. A fight that I don't need to be playing 20 teams to get to is Chase Hooper and Mitch Ramirez. Chase Hooper minus 425, Mitch Ramirez plus 325, minus 270 for this fight to finish. Hooper minus 160 inside the distance, Ramirez plus 400, Chase in round 1 plus 210. So looking at where this line movement has gone, Chase opened minus 230. Now you find he was minus 230, minus 400 on Monday, and he's gotten a little bit of buyback. Actually, man, so this morning it was minus 330, and now he's minus 425. So this fight's taking quite a bit of money. So yeah, minus 400 on Monday. I broke this fight down this afternoon. It was still minus 330, and now he's minus 425 again. Minus 160 to finish, plus 210 in round 1. Wants the fight on the mat, reversals, takedowns, top control, you name it. He has the upside. It's been tough as a Chase Hooper backer for quite some time. These last 2 fights have not treated me well at all. With that being said, I'm going to go right back to the well. I think he can get takedowns. When he does, I think he's absolutely going to dominate Mitch Ramirez. I don't know how much Mitch Ramirez I want. I liked him a lot more at plus 270 this morning or whatever he was around there now instead of like plus 320. So Hooper for sure. I'm not sure about Mitch Ramirez. I'll let you maybe talk me in or out of him.
Yeah, picking Hooper to win. Hooper has one of the higher ceilings on the card, especially for favorites. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be picking him, but if he's going to look to strike at all, it gives Ramirez a knockout chance in any fight that Hooper's in and he wants to strike. I got to target the other guy as well because Hooper has no chin at all. I think Ramirez is live for 110 points with the first round knockout in this one. So I like him more than I like Ricci, but it's also more of a hedge because I'm going to have a lot of Hooper for sure. I feel like Hooper round 1 submission is how this fight should end. It's just, is he going to go for takedowns? How successful is he with those takedowns? And can he get them before he gets caught?
I feel like he has to, especially after these last 2 fights. Like, come on, dude. It's as simple as it gets. Get the fight to the mat. When you're on the mat, you dominate. You don't take damage. You get paid more. He's going to take him down and get a submission. I feel good about that. I don't know. I don't see myself playing too much Mitch Ramirez. I prefer other underdogs on this card, but I think he has one of the highest ceilings as an underdog because, yeah, if he doesn't get takedowns, he can get knocked out or Chase Hooper, that is, can get knocked out at any time. All right, we have 2 fights left, co-main event and main event. So let me jump over to our Shipping Nation homepage. This is what we're looking at right here. We still got PGA going on. Actually, locks showdown in like 4 hours since they're still overseas. But PGA, MLB, MMA, and NASCAR. Next thing you know, NFL will be back. But we'd love to have you with 4 sports going on. Usually $99 for the first month, not only $49. Gets you access to the Discord and SaberSim. Bottom left, join the nation. As you can see, 5 days for $19 if you want to try us for a little cheaper. That will get you access, obviously, to get NASCAR, MMA. MLB comes back tomorrow, and PGA Showdown if you sign up now. Discord, SaberSim. Far right, single sport. If you say you just play MMA, you can see single sport MMA, less than $1 a day and $20 more, only $49 a month with SaberSim. With Discord, you can build 150 lineups. It makes it very easy to like X out, not letting you get fight stacks, which I know some people struggle with. Get your ownership dialed in, min-max, very easy to do on SaberSim. Get projections, ownership, the Stone, Slate Station, which all of our content now is over there at once in Big Marley's fight rankings. Let me hop back over to the Stone. We were talking about the second last fight, the co-main event. Christian Leroy Duncan, a minus 400 favorite, taking on Jared Cannonier, minus 110 for this fight to finish. CLD plus 140 inside the distance. Cannonier plus 500. CLD in round 1 plus 400. I said I'd prefer CLD to Klein. I think they're similar, will be similarly owned and similar plays. CLD better or more likely to finish, but doesn't really have the wrestling upside, where Klein does have the wrestling upside there. I just don't think she uses it as much with Ricci, which is why I prefer CLD. Cannonier's just taking so much damage. CLD can, when it rains, it pours with him. When he really feels himself and it gets downhill and his opponent's hurt, he'll pour it on. But I don't know. I don't love it because it can be low volume. It can be fought at distance, and he doesn't have much wrestling upside. So he needs to hurt Cannonier. Do you think he does hurt him?
Yeah, I do think he does at some point. Or if he doesn't, he probably does just cruise to a decision. He is the better striker in this one. He is going to have more power consistently over the 15 minutes. But for DraftKings at 9,100, we do need an early knockout for him to score 100-plus points, which is what we're going to need. And I don't know how likely that is. I picked him to win a unanimous decision. And if that's going to be the case, I think Klein's going to outscore him because she would score more minute to minute than he would.
I agree with that. If both go to decision, I think Klein for sure. CLD's toast. I mean, Klein still has outs at the optimal if it goes the distance. I don't think CLD has many.
Right, but Duncan way more likely for a first-round knockout to get 110 plus. And I did move it to a 3-star because of that. I am worried. I mean, Cannonier's 42 years old now, taking a lot of damage. Still looks all right for his age, and he would be our more likely wrestler in this one. He's got knockout power himself, so I'm not going to X out Cannonier. He's similar to a Ramirez and a Ricci type of punt for me, where I don't feel good about him winning, but if he does, he's going to score well. But I think it's past his time. Duncan too good of a striker. I'll pick Duncan to win, and I'd imagine I'll be underweight, but not so far underweight that I get burned if he does get a first-round knockout.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You can see on Monday, CLD was minus 330. Now he's minus 400. So another guy that's taken quite a bit of money. The under is taken a little bit as well. Was plus 100 to finish. Now minus 110. All right, it's the main events. Not a 5-star, though, so maybe we are able to fade it even with limited lineups. It's Dricus, who's minus 245, taking on Kamaru Usman plus 210. Minus 130 for this fight to finish. Dricus plus 135 inside the distance. Usman plus 400. Dricus in round 1 plus 700. Yeah, I guess I'll just throw it to you right on that. How do you see this fight going? But can you fade Dricus? Plus 135 to finish, plus 700 in round 1. That's really bad when you compare to other fighters in that range. The round 1 prop, I should say, is really bad compared to others. Inside the distance is fine. But obviously, you got an extra 10 minutes to work if this fight does go to the later rounds, which it is expected to do so, and both can wrestle. So, yeah, really curious to hear your take on this fight.
I definitely wouldn't fade Duplessis. I think his knockout chance is more of a chance than Vegas does, actually. And I am picking him to win by knockout. $9K is tough to pay if Usman's able to have early wrestling success. I don't think Usman can wrestle for 25 minutes successfully against a guy like DDP. With his knees being shot the way they are, he's getting up there damn near 40 years old himself. Had a lot of wrestling and fight years behind him. So I think Usman is really just early wrestling success, and then I think it's all DDP from there. And if it's too late for DraftKings, maybe I'll just hammer a live play or something like that, because I just think that round 3, round 4, round 5, it's got to be all DDP. And I don't know that Usman can handle those types of punches that are coming from him. I think DDP is going to be a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and just a better overall striker and more aggressive, better cardio. So I like DDP to get a knockout at some point in this fight. And if he doesn't get a knockout, I think he wins the last 3 rounds and gets his hand raised. But I'm probably more likely to fade Usman. I think he is going to get a decent amount of ownership. And I just don't think that this is going to be a fight. I think I was all in on Usman against Buckley. But this is just a totally different matchup, in my opinion. Much tougher matchup to wrestle heavily. I know Chimaev just did it really easily, but Chimaev is a different animal. And he's got way better knees than Usman does as well. So this is the most confident I've ever felt in DDP, I think, in his UFC career, which kind of scares me a bit. And I've been an Usman backer his entire career. But I just think time's up for Usman, and it's a bad matchup for him.
You kind of said it best at the end where I am, like the most confident I've been in Dricus, and that really scares me because I've gotten Dricus wrong so much throughout his career. Seeing where this fight opened, minus 240, Dricus immediately took money, got all the way down to minus 375, stayed there for a decent bit, and then slowly but surely Usman has taken money back, and that is quite a bit of money. Dricus minus 375 at his peak, now minus 245. If Usman wins, like I feel confident he's on the optimal. Yeah, if it's really boring, like I guess Usman can win and score 75. I even think on the feet, like Dricus will make him throw enough volume or something to be something happen. But yeah, I just don't love too many dogs on this card. So as a plus 205 underdog, I'm naturally just going to play some at 7,200 since I don't love everything else and I can get different with the CLD or Delgado or something in that lineup. As far as Dricus, I would like Dricus a lot less if it was like last week's card with 14 fights and what felt like a really strong upper tier. This week it feels a little more watered down. So Dricus is 101 at 9K. Feels a lot better than if you knew like Max Holloway was getting 101 last week or whatever. So for that reason, I think just naturally I'm going to play a good amount of the main event. With that being said, though, I would prioritize these mid-tier fights, McMillen's, Bashi, Delgado, Rodrigues, Franco, I guess maybe even Hines, Harris a little bit. Oh, no, Anderson, Elliott. Like, I'm going to be loading up on that mid-tier, and because those are so chalky, when you are playing a lot of, like, Bashi and McMillen teams together and then one other chalk, maybe that's when I'll fade the main event. By no means am I going to make a rule, but, yeah, both guys can wrestle. It's 25 minutes to work. Probably get to the championship rounds. I wish I had a stronger lean on this card. Like I never lie to the people. Some I can get really up for and get really excited. Prizes are massive, a lot of fights and more combinations, and some just feel kind of dusty. There's money to be made, but it feels like people will be on the same page on which fights to target and which ones not to, which can lead to a little more dupes. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too pessimistic. Bring me some nice words to close it out about this week's card or anything that you got, Big Marley.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to hammer the mid-range. And if I leave salary on the table, then so be it. But I do like Hooper. I like DDP as well. Then aside from those guys, it's just going to be, all right, how can I get different on this card and maybe take it down solo? I'm also probably not going to play a ton of lineups on this card. I just don't think it's the most exciting card to get pumped up for, especially after last week. So for me, I'm going to start it out heavily with that first fight of the night and see how it goes. And if I have a sweat, that'll make it more exciting for me. But if not, maybe I'll find other Saturday plans. But good luck to you, Tado. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Yeah, good luck to everybody for sure. Again, all of our content will be up tomorrow. Projections, ownership, the stone. It will be color-coded, fully completed. Big Marley's fight rankings on the Slate Station. You'll get the tier rankings in there, my breakdown for each one. That is new, like we have for all the other sports that we incorporated for MMA as well. Again, shipanation.com. You can click join the nation for all the different options to get in. Definitely do get in the Discord if you do join. We got an everything is staged these days, and we got YSN saying good luck. Good luck to you, YSN. Andrew, appreciate you catching us live for the first for your first show. Connor Pereira, hey, you never know, man. Crazy things have happened. But yeah, hopefully we get a little surprising good 12-fight card if you're going to them in Oklahoma City. I am jealous. You could have any two fighters fighting in an octagon in their underwear, and you will get me very excited. So definitely enjoy it. The UFC always puts on an awesome show. Let's see some Shipping Nation logos at the top of the leaderboards. For my man, Big Marley, I'm Title Town. Good luck. Be safe. Peace.